Listen to me, chosen one. This message is not for everyone. If you are playing with darkness, if you are not walking the path of the living God, you will not last in this video. But if your spirit has been feeling the pull of heaven, if you know deep inside that you're set apart, then understand something. You are not here by accident. The Spirit of God led you here on purpose and on time. What I am about to reveal will explain why demons could not destroy you, why certain attacks failed, and why your life never fully collapsed even when everything seemed against you. There is a divine shield around you, an unseen energy of protection, and after today you will understand it in a way that changes how you walk, how you pray, and how you see yourself. If your spirit is ready to receive, type 777 in the comments so heaven can see your agreement. And before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe to Rise of the Chosen, tap the bell icon, and share this message with every chosen one you know. Now, stay with me until the end, because what you hear today will expose the plans of darkness and confirm who you truly are. You have survived too much to doubt this now. Let this be the moment your fear breaks, your faith rises, and your shield becomes undeniable in your own eyes. Understanding the divine energy shield. Around the chosen one, I want you to slow down your mind for a moment and really hear me. Many people talk about protection, about good vibes, about positive thinking, but what surrounds you is not a trend, not a vague feeling, and not something you forced into existence by yourself. Around your life, there is a very real spiritual structure, a living field of protection designed and sustained by God Himself. I call it an energy shield, so that your mind can picture it, but in truth it is His presence, His covenant, and His angels standing guard over you. This shield did not begin the day you started praying more. It did not begin the day you found this channel. Long before you were aware of being chosen, heaven already knew your name and your assignment. The shield formed around your life the moment God marked you as His own. Even when you were walking in confusion, even when you stepped into places that should have destroyed you, that shield was already working. That is why certain accidents missed you, certain relationships collapsed, and certain traps never fully closed. The shield was already taking the impact. Think of it as a sacred boundary between what the enemy wants to do and what God allows. Demons may desire to swallow you completely, but there is a line they cannot cross, a limit written in the spiritual realm. This one belongs to God. That line is not made of human willpower. It is made of divine ownership. You are sealed, claimed, and covered whether you fully feel it or not. This energy shield is not just above your head. It surrounds your entire being. It guards your spirit, your mind, your emotions, and even your physical path. Notice how, at certain times, your spirit suddenly feels uneasy in an environment that looks normal to everyone else. That is the shield speaking to you. Notice how you lose peace around certain people who carry hidden darkness. That is the shield activating, warning you, pulling you away before damage is done. Heaven communicates through that field of protection, giving you signals that your logical mind may not yet understand. Many of you have survived things that others did not survive, not because you were smarter, stronger, or luckier, but because your shield absorbed what was sent to destroy you. Some of the mental breakdowns that never happened, the addictions that never fully took over, the betrayals that hurt but did not shatter you beyond repair. All of these are evidence that something invisible stood between you and total destruction. The enemy planned collapse, but the shield translated it into a lesson. The enemy planned death, but the shield converted it into awakening. Understand this. The shield comes from God's decision, not your perfection. You are not protected because you have never made mistakes. You are protected because your destiny matters in the story of God's plan. You carry assignments, messages, and frequencies of light that must be delivered into this world. That is why you could not die when you wanted to give up. That is why you could not blend in with everyone else, no matter how hard you tried. The shield kept pushing you back onto the path, even when you were angry at God, even when you did not believe in yourself. At the same time, this shield responds to alignment. When you agree with heaven, when you walk in obedience, when you purify your life and guard your heart, the shield grows brighter and stronger around you. When you speak life instead of curses over yourself, when you forgive instead of holding poison inside, when you choose environments that honor God instead of mocking Him, you are feeding that field of protection. Your choices either harmonize with the shield or scrape against it. The more harmony, the more peace and clarity you feel, even in the middle of storms. Look back over your journey. Remember the nights when you felt a heavy presence in your room, yet something in you rose up and pushed it away. Remember the seasons where everyone around you fell into the same trap, but something stopped you at the last moment. That something was not random. It was the shield reacting, the presence of God inside and around you, resisting what was sent against you. The chosen do not always understand what is happening to them, but their spirit is constantly in conversation with heaven. This is why isolation has been such a theme in your life. The shield is not only for protection from demons, it is also a filter for connections. There are people you tried to befriend, tried to date, tried to partner with, and somehow it always broke apart. If those connections had lasted, they would have pulled you into covenants and atmospheres that would weaken your calling. The shield knew what your emotions did not know yet. The energy shield is also time-sensitive. It moves with seasons, assignments, and divine timing. When God is transitioning you to a new level, the shield becomes more active. That is when you feel sudden urges to clean your space, to cut off distractions, to pray more, to fast, to stay quiet. It is not just you changing. It is the shield rearranging your spiritual atmosphere to prepare you for the next instruction. Doors close, old cycles end, and even opportunities that looked good suddenly disappear. Do not panic when this happens. The shield is organizing your path. Understand, chosen one, that this shield is not a wall that isolates you from love or purpose. It is more like a holy atmosphere that travels with you. Wherever you go, it goes. When you enter a room, the room feels it. Sensitive people notice it without knowing what it is. Some will be drawn to the light around you. Others will feel irritated, exposed, or uncomfortable. That is because your shield carries God's presence, and every presence tests the hidden intentions of hearts. When you become aware of this divine energy shield, your posture changes. You stop walking like a victim of spiritual warfare and start walking like a guarded vessel. You stop asking, "Why is everything against me?" and begin to see, if this much resistance is here, it is because heaven is guarding something valuable inside me. Instead of fearing demons, you recognize that they fear the one who owns you and the light you carry. I am telling you this, so you stop agreeing with the lie that you are unprotected, abandoned, or easy prey. You are none of those things. You are covered by a structure of grace, authority, and divine claim that demons can see clearly even on days when you feel weak. The more you understand this shield, the more you will cooperate with it. and the less room fear will have in your life. From this moment forward, begin to see yourself as one who walks inside a living sanctuary, guarded by God, surrounded by His presence, and set apart by a shield that darkness cannot cross without permission. How demons operate, and why they cannot cross the shield. Chosen one, listen carefully now, because if you understand this, fear will lose much of its grip on your mind. Many of you have lived under constant spiritual pressure, feeling watched, feeling attacked, feeling like something is always trying to pull you backward. You were not imagining it. Demons are real, and the warfare around your life is real. But so is the order, the structure, and the limitation that God has placed on them. Darkness does not move freely. It is bound by laws. It is restrained by divine boundaries, and the shield around you is one of those boundaries. Demons are highly observant. They study more than they strike. They watch your patterns, your wounds, your reactions. They are drawn to unresolved pain, to unhealed trauma, to secret shame, because those are entry points. They whisper through thoughts, through music, through conversations, and through atmospheres, pushing you toward choices that move you away from God's presence. They are not as creative as people think. They recycle the same temptations, the same confusions, the same fears, just dressed in new faces and new situations. But even with all their observation, there is something they cannot alter: God's claim over a chosen life. When heaven has marked you, there is a spiritual perimeter around your being. Demons can stand at that perimeter. They can shout. They can throw images. They can stir up people around you. But they cannot simply walk into the inner place of your spirit and own you. They cannot rewrite your destiny. They cannot cancel the seal that God has placed on you. Think of it like this. Imagine a fortified city with massive walls and guards on the towers. The enemy army can march around the outside, can shout threats from the field, can try to starve the city with pressure, but there is a thick line they cannot casually cross. That wall is your divine shield. Inside those walls is your spirit, your true identity in God, your calling. Demons live at the edges, always trying to find cracks, always trying to provoke someone inside the city to open the gate, but they cannot walk through stone. They need permission. This is why attacks often come through thoughts and feelings rather than obvious supernatural events. If demons cannot penetrate by force, they will attempt persuasion. They send thoughts that sound like your own voice. You are alone. You are forgotten. You are weak. You are dirty. You will never change. Their hope is that you agree. Because agreement is a spiritual key. When a chosen one agrees with a demonic lie and begins to speak it, believe it, and live from it, it is like opening a small door inside the shield. Still, even when a door opens through agreement, the enemy's access is limited. He can create confusion, heaviness, cycles of self-sabotage, but he still cannot erase the mark of God on you. That is why, even in your darkest seasons, something in you stayed alive. A small flame refused to die. You would drift, but then suddenly you would feel conviction, or a random message would reach you, or a dream would shake you awake. That is the shield responding. Heaven reminding hell, you can harass, but you cannot own this one. Demons also operate through systems and people. They look for those who are already aligned with darkness, with jealousy, with manipulation, and they use them as carriers. Have you noticed how certain individuals always appear when you are about to level up spiritually? Suddenly, a distraction arrives. A tempting relationship, a chaotic friendship, an opportunity that promises fast comfort but costs you your peace. Demons send these patterns, but the shield around you creates resistance. Things will not flow smoothly when they are not from God. Red flags appear. You feel disturbed in your spirit even if your emotions feel drawn. When demons realize they cannot enter you, they try to build cages around you. They attack your surroundings. Suddenly, misunderstandings increase, financial pressure rises, health issues show up, people slander your name. The goal is to make you forget that you are shielded, to make you so tired that you willingly surrender your spiritual authority. But remember this: outside chaos does not mean inside defeat. They can shake the environment, but there is a holy center they still cannot touch. The shield also restricts how far demonic assignments can go. Many of you do not realize how many attacks were stopped at 20%, at 50%, long before they reached a fatal level. The enemy aimed for complete destruction, but the shield cut his plan in half, in quarters, in fragments. What reached you was only a reduced version of what was planned. You felt pain, but you were preserved. You experienced loss, but you were not erased. That is what it looks like when demons slam into the limits of God's boundary around you. Understand, too, that demons fear authority. They do not tremble at your personality, your age, or your earthly status. They respond to the authority of God in you. When you stand in that authority, when you speak from your position as a chosen one rather than a victim, their influence weakens. They cannot cross a shield that is constantly being reinforced by faith, by truth, and by obedience. Every time you say no to a temptation that used to own you, the shield thickens. Every time you refuse to curse your own life with your words, the shield brightens. Some of you wonder, if demons cannot cross the shield, why do I still feel so much warfare? Because feeling the enemy outside the wall is not the same as being conquered. A soldier on the tower can still hear the shouts of the army below. They can still see arrows hitting the outer stones. They can feel the vibration of impact, but they remain behind the wall. In the same way, your sensitivity makes you aware of the pressure, but awareness does not equal defeat. Your discernment is proof that your spirit is awake, not that you are losing. Demons also know they have limited time and reach. When they see a chosen one waking up to their identity, they panic. They intensify attacks, not because they are strong, but because they are desperate. They try to trigger old wounds, rekindle old addictions, bring back old relationships, anything to drag you into a state where you doubt your protection. Remember this: panic from the enemy is often a sign that your shield is already standing in their way. They see the light around you growing, and they are trying to distract you before you notice it. The most important thing you must understand is this: demons cannot cross what God has ordained. They cannot cancel a word God has spoken over you. They cannot dig under, climb over, or dissolve the shield that has been placed around your destiny. The only power they hope to gain is the power you hand them through fear, agreement, and disobedience. When you refuse to sign their lies, when you return quickly to God after you stumble, when you remember that you are chosen and covered, their hands remain tied. So, chosen one, stop imagining demons as unlimited beings roaming freely around your soul. See them as they truly are: limited, restricted, frustrated by the shield that surrounds you. You are not the one boxed in. They are. You are not the prisoner. They are the ones standing outside the gate, watching a life they cannot fully touch, a destiny they cannot rewrite, and a light they cannot extinguish. And that, too, quietly terrifies them deeply. Signs your shield is active and how the enemy reacts. Chosen One, it is time for you to recognize the evidence that has been surrounding you for years. Too often, you have interpreted the signs of your protection as signs of rejection, bad luck, or instability. You said to yourself, "Why does nothing stay? Why do people disappear? Why do certain doors slam in my face?" You did not realize that many of those moments were not proof of your failure, but proof that your shield was fully active. When the divine shield is moving, the surface of your life may look chaotic. But underneath, heaven is rearranging everything for your safety and your purpose. One of the first signs that your shield is active is how certain people simply cannot stay close to you for long. I am not talking about healthy distance or natural changes. I mean those individuals who carry secret jealousy, manipulation, or darkness. At first, they may be drawn to you. Your light attracts them. Your peace intrigues them. But as time passes, they either grow uncomfortable, they start arguments out of nowhere, or they quietly slip away. You often blame yourself, wondering what is wrong with you. In reality, your shield is radiating a frequency that exposes their intentions. The darkness inside them cannot rest near the presence that covers you. Notice also how environments reject you when they are not aligned with your calling. Jobs that were never meant for you suddenly collapse. Friend groups built on gossip become hostile places full of spiritual pollution, drain you so quickly that you cannot remain there without feeling sick in your soul. You might think, why can't I just fit in like everyone else? But your shield is defending your assignment. It will not allow you to feel comfortable where your destiny would be suffocated. The more active your shield is, the more allergic your spirit becomes to low atmospheres. Another clear sign is how plans to trap you constantly break apart. Someone may scheme to use you, to lie to you, to bind you emotionally or financially. At first, the situation looks promising, even beautiful. Then, before it can fully form, something strange happens. Miscommunication erupts. Their true character is exposed. A sudden shift forces you to walk away. You feel crushed in the moment, but later you see the truth. That connection would have tied you to a demonic assignment. The shield stepped in, tore the illusion, and pulled you out before the bondage became permanent. Pay attention to the way your inner alarms work. When your shield is active, your discernment becomes sharper. You may not have all the information, but you will feel a holy discomfort around certain choices. You will try to ignore it, but the feeling remains. Your appetite for certain entertainments, for certain sins, for certain conversations begins to die. Things you once enjoyed now make your spirit feel heavy. That is your shield, warning you that these things weaken your protection and invite unnecessary warfare. It is not that you are becoming boring, you are becoming more consecrated. There is another sign that many chosen ones misunderstand: the sudden closing of opportunities that looked like blessings. Perhaps a position, an open door, a relationship, or a platform seemed perfect. You even thanked God for it. Then, without clear reason, it disappears. You feel abandoned. You cry out, "Lord, why did you let this be taken from me?" But later, the truth about that opportunity is revealed. Hidden motives, hidden corruption, hidden traps come to light. You realize that if you had stepped fully through that door, you would have been hurt in ways you could not easily recover from. When your shield is active, God will rescue you from blessings that are actually disguised chains. Watch how the enemy reacts when he realizes he cannot cross your shield. He becomes loud. When he cannot touch your spirit, he will attack the edges of your life. Sudden slander may rise up against you. People misunderstand your heart and twist your words. Doors you thought were secure start shaking. Financial challenges appear. Health issues flare. The enemy cannot own you, but he hopes to discourage you so deeply that you sit down in your purpose. When you see attacks rising on multiple fronts, do not only say, "The enemy is after me." Also say, "My shield is working and he is frustrated." The enemy's frustration shows itself in patterns of intimidation. You may feel sudden waves of fear with no obvious cause. Old memories you have already healed from try to replay in your mind. Nightmares come to make you doubt God's presence. Understand what is happening. The enemy is standing at the wall of your shield, banging on it, trying to convince you that the wall is thin. He wants you to agree with fear so that you open your own gates, but the fear itself is not proof that he has entered. It is proof that he is still outside, shouting. Another sign your shield is active is spiritual exposure. People around you start revealing their true colors without you forcing anything. Masks fall, secrets surface. Conversations you were never supposed to hear accidentally reach your ears. Screenshots appear. Confessions come. It may hurt you to see the truth, but the shield cannot protect you from what you are still pretending not to see, so it exposes. It will not let you build your future on lies. The enemy hates this because confusion is one of his greatest weapons. When your shield is fully functioning, confusion loses ground and clarity increases. You will also notice that when your shield is active, some attacks simply bounce off your mind. Words that used to destroy your confidence lose their power. Insults feel lighter. Manipulative tactics that once worked on you now look obvious and childish. That is not just maturity, that is protection. God has been fortifying your inner world so that the enemy cannot easily rewrite your identity through the opinions of others. When you hear negative words and your spirit quietly says, "That is not who I am," your shield is in full operation. The enemy responds to this by trying to isolate you in unhealthy ways. If he cannot control you through people, he will try to convince you that you do not need anyone at all. He wants you so disconnected that you stop receiving wise counsel, stop fellowshipping with those who sharpen your spirit, and hide your struggles in silence. Isolation in the wrong spirit weakens the chosen. But there is a difference between divine separation and demonic isolation. Divine separation feels like peace, clarity, and deep work on your character. Demonic isolation feels like hopelessness, numbness, and constant accusation. Your shield supports divine separation, but resists isolation that leads to spiritual death. Now I want you to pause and look back over your life with new eyes. Think of the friendships that fell apart, the jobs that did not work, the dates that went nowhere, the sudden no that hurt you, but later made sense. Think of the times your spirit felt restless and you did not understand why. These were not random. These were signs that your shield was active. If your heart agrees with this, if you can look back and see the hidden protection in your story, comment 444 right now as a prophetic sign that you recognize God's shield around you and you are ready to walk with more awareness of it. Another strong indicator of an active shield is the way you keep bouncing back. You experience heartbreak, yet you heal. You lose things, yet you somehow rebuild. You cry, but you do not stay in the grave. There is a resilience inside you that does not make sense, even to you. After every major wound, a strange strength rises that you did not manufacture. That is the shield releasing restoration, guiding you to the right messages, the right people, the right revelations at the right time, so you do not collapse under the weight of your experiences. Finally, understand that when your shield is active, the enemy's plans become your training. The very plots designed to crush you become the reason your discernment sharpens, your prayer life deepens, and your authority grows. The enemy reacts with rage because every time his attack fails, your shield shines brighter and your confidence in God increases. What was meant to break you becomes proof that you are unbreakable in Him. So the next time you feel pressure rising, do not only see danger, also see evidence. Evidence that you are surrounded, evidence that you are claimed, evidence that your shield is not theory, but living reality wrapped around your life. Let this revelation settle in your spirit, chosen one, and walk from this day, knowing that every shift and sudden exit may be proof that heaven is protecting you. How cracks form in the shield, and why demons still can't own you. Chosen one, I have to speak to you as a father now, with love but with firmness. You are shielded, you are marked, you are covered, but that does not mean your choices do not matter. A divine shield is not a toy. It is not there so you can play on the edge of darkness without consequence. It is there because your life is precious to God and because your destiny is tied to people you have not even met yet. When you understand this, you will stop asking, "How much can I get away with?" and start asking, "How do I walk in a way that honors the one who protects me?" Cracks in the shield do not form overnight. They begin as small agreements, small compromises, small "it's not that serious" moments. The enemy is patient. A repeated thought you never confront. A habit you keep excusing. A relationship you know is draining your spirit, but you refuse to release. With every deliberate step away from what God has spoken, you apply pressure to the shield from the inside over time. That pressure can form thin fractures, places where the enemy's influence can press in more strongly. Cracks are serious, but they are not the end of your story. Unless you choose to stay in them, God leaves a path back, a door of mercy open, while He allows consequences to teach you wisdom. One of the main ways cracks form is through intentional disobedience. I am not speaking of the struggles you bring before God in honesty. I am speaking of those moments when God has already shown you the truth, yet you willfully walk in the opposite direction. You feel the warning in your spirit. You feel the lack of peace, but you silence it with entertainment, with noise, with excuses. Each time you override that inner check, you are telling your own shield, "Stand aside. I want this more than I want protection." God does not instantly abandon you, but the covering you feel becomes thinner because you are moving outside the safe path He drew for you. Bitterness is another deep crack maker. When pain enters and you refuse to process it with God, it begins to harden. You replay what they did, what they said, how they betrayed you. You feed that memory until it becomes a throne in your heart. Darkness loves bitterness because it twists righteous anger into poison. The shield around you is built on love, truth, and mercy. When you cling to unforgiveness, you are agreeing with a spirit that is not from God. That agreement acts like an acid against the inner surface of your shield. Another way the shield is weakened is through deliberate exposure to dark atmospheres. You already know certain music, movies, conversations, and places grieve your spirit. And yet, sometimes you run to them when you are hurt, bored, or lonely. You say, "It's just for a little while," not realizing that your spirit is absorbing what fills those spaces. Demonic influence loves to hide in what looks harmless. The more time you spend soaking in polluted atmospheres, the more desensitized you become. Sensitivity to the Spirit of God fades, and sensitivity to fleshly desires grows. When you cannot feel your protection, you are more likely to walk into danger as if you were uncovered. Then there are soul ties. These are deep emotional and spiritual bonds formed through intimacy, repeated communication, or shared spiritual practices. When you tie your soul to someone who is walking in rebellion, you give their demons a bridge into your life. The shield around you will still resist, but the connection you maintain acts like a tunnel from inside the walls. That is why certain relationships feel like warfare on repeat. Every time you try to break free, something pulls you back. It is not just emotions, it is spiritual traffic moving along a line you helped build. Until that tie is surrendered to God and cut clean, the crack remains active. Now, hear this clearly. Even when cracks appear, demons still cannot own you. They may touch your emotions, they may confuse your mind, they may stir up chaos around you. But ownership is another realm entirely. Ownership belongs to the one who purchased you with his blood and called you by name. God does not give his chosen ones away. The enemy can occupy space in your habits, in your patterns, in certain areas of your life, but he cannot hold the title deed to your soul. Heaven already stamped that document with God's seal. Think of a house under attack. If the walls are cracked and the doors are left open, thieves can come in and cause damage. They may steal, break, and scatter things, but the property itself is still legally yours. The solution is not to burn the house down in shame. The solution is to repair the walls, shut the doors, change the locks, and call on higher authority. When you notice cracks in your shield, the answer is not to sink into guilt and say, "I am lost." The answer is to return to the one who built the shield, confess where you cooperated with darkness, and allow him to restore what has been weakened. God is not surprised by your cracks. He saw every decision before you made it. Yet he still chose you, still protected you, still invested his presence in your life. Your shield shows marks and scars because it has been actively defending you, even when you were walking in the wrong direction. Some of the heaviest attacks you faced during your rebellion were actually blocked partially by the shield. That is why you hit a wall instead of falling into an abyss. That wall may have hurt, but it saved your life. The enemy will point at your cracks and whisper, "You see, you are no longer chosen. You are too dirty, too inconsistent, too broken. God is done with you." Those are lies designed to keep you away from the very presence that can heal you. The very fact that you still feel conviction, that you still feel drawn to messages like this, that you still ache for God, is proof that the seal of heaven is still active over your life. Ownership speaks louder than occupation. When a chosen one returns to God, even after years of compromise, something powerful happens. The cracks do not just get patched. The shield itself becomes thicker in those areas. Wounds that are surrendered become wisdom. Weak places that are brought into the light become gates of discernment. You begin to recognize the patterns that once fooled you, and you shut them down early. The enemy loses access not only to you, but also to those you will one day counsel, because your testimony will expose his tactics. In this way, even your cracks, once healed, become instruments of warfare against the darkness that once exploited them. Remember also that some cracks you see in yourself are not sins, but unhealed pain. God does not condemn you for being wounded. He invites you to bring that pain into his presence so that it does not become a doorway for bitterness, addiction, or despair. Demons love to whisper into unhealed places. No one cares. No one understands. You will always be like this. But when you allow God to touch those areas, the lies lose their grip. Healing closes gaps. Wholeness strengthens the shield from within. So, chosen one, do not let awareness of your faults drive you into hopelessness. Let it drive you into honesty. Sit with God and say, "Show me where the cracks are. Show me where I agreed with darkness. Show me where I kept doors open that you asked me to close." That kind of prayer is not weakness. It is spiritual maturity. It invites God to move as a master builder, repairing, reinforcing, and realigning your life with His original design. As He works, you will notice that certain temptations lose their power and certain voices lose their volume. The shield you thought was ruined was only waiting for your surrender. In the end, this is the truth you must carry. Cracks in your shield explain increased warfare, but they do not cancel your identity. You are still chosen. You are still claimed. You are still surrounded by a protection the enemy cannot fully penetrate. Demons can touch what you give them, but they cannot seize what you keep in God's hands. As you return again and again to that place of surrender, your shield will not only be restored, it will shine with the story of a God who refused to give you up, even when you tried to run away. And that story, your story, will become a weapon in the spirit that no demon can withstand, strengthening and activating your shield. Daily, chosen one, now that you understand what this shield is and how cracks can form in it, I want to teach you how to walk each day as someone who lives consciously inside this divine protection. Your shield is a gift from God, but your cooperation matters. This is not about being perfect, it is about being aligned. When you align yourself with heaven, the shield around you glows brighter, thicker, more sensitive and more active. When you ignore your spirit and live on autopilot, you may still be chosen, but you live as if you are uncovered. Today, I want to show you how to stop living like a victim and start moving like a guarded vessel. The first key is daily connection with God. I am not speaking of long, complicated rituals. I am speaking of real conversation with the one who protects you. When you open your eyes in the morning, before the world rushes in, take a moment and acknowledge His presence around you. Whisper, even if your voice is tired, "God, thank you for covering me. Guide me today." That simple surrender in the morning invites heaven to order your steps. You are not just stepping into a day. You are stepping into the shield that has already been prepared around the path you will walk. Prayer is not just asking for things. Prayer is agreeing with God's perspective. When you say, "Your will, not mine," you are choosing to walk where your shield is already strongest. When you pray over your mind, your heart, your decisions, you are inviting God to saturate your atmosphere. Do not underestimate short, sincere prayers throughout your day. A whispered, "Protect my spirit here," a quiet, "Show me who is for me and who is not," can redirect you away from danger you did not see coming. The more you invite God in, the more responsive and alive your shield feels around you. The second key is cleansing your inner and outer atmosphere. Your shield protects you, but you can cooperate by not constantly dragging spiritual trash into your space. Look at what you feed your spirit. The shows you binge, the music you repeat, the conversations you entertain, the accounts you follow. All of these carry spiritual frequency. Ask yourself honestly, does this content strengthen my spirit or drain it? Does this conversation stir faith or feed fear and lust? You do not need a pastor to answer that for you. Your spirit already knows. When you begin to choose content that honors God, that carries truth, that carries light, you are washing the inside of your shield with living water instead of coating it with dirt. You also cleanse your atmosphere by watching who you allow close. Not everyone deserves front row access to your life. Some people come with their own clouds of confusion, drama, and demonic attachments. Your shield will try to warn you through restlessness, tension, and unease. Do not ignore those signals. When you distance yourself from relationships that constantly pull you into sin, gossip, anxiety, or spiritual laziness, you're not being cruel. You are protecting the temple God is building in you. Love people, yes, but understand that your soul is sacred territory. The more you treat it as sacred, the stronger your shield will become. The third key is repentance and quick correction. Being chosen does not mean you will never stumble. It means that when you stumble, you do not stay on the ground. You do not hide from God. You run toward Him. When you notice you reacted out of anger, slipped into lust, lied, gossiped, or entertained something dark, do not pretend it did not happen. Bring it into the light. Say, God, I did this. I own it. I do not want this to live in me. Cleanse me. That posture of honesty closes doors swiftly. The longer you hide a sin, the deeper the crack it carves into your shield. The quicker you confess it, the faster your protection is reinforced. Repentance is not just saying sorry, it is turning your feet in a new direction. Ask God for strength to choose differently next time, and then take tiny, practical steps. If your weakness is what you watch late at night, change your routine. If your weakness is certain conversations, limit access. Heaven responds to effort. Your shield responds to direction. When you move away from the things that harm you, you are moving deeper into the safest part of God's covering. The fourth key is the words you speak. Many chosen ones do not realize that their mouth is either reinforcing their shield or drilling holes in it. Words carry spirit. When you constantly say, I am cursed, I am unlucky, I am always alone, nothing ever works for me, you are speaking in agreement with the enemy's narrative, not God's. Those words echo inside your atmosphere and weaken your confidence in your own protection. Begin to train your tongue to align with heaven. You do not have to lie about your pain, but you can declare God's truth over it. Instead of saying, I am abandoned, say, I am surrounded, even when I feel alone. Instead of, nothing works out for me, say, all things are working together for my good. When you speak like this, you are not being delusional. You are choosing which voice will write the script of your life. Over time, your spirit will start to believe what you speak, and your shield will echo that agreement. Demons hear your words. When they hear you stand in identity and faith, their influence loses power around you. The fifth key is obedience to divine nudges. God will often guide you through small inner promptings. Do not go there. Do not text them back. Do not sign that contract. Pray before you answer. Wait before you move. These promptings are not random anxiety. They are often the movement of your shield. When you obey quickly, even if you do not fully understand, you are allowing your shield to lead you around traps. Many disasters are avoided simply because a chosen one obeyed a quiet instruction. Practice saying yes to those nudges. When you feel led to pray for someone, do it. When you feel led to fast, even for a meal or a day, do it. When you feel led to forgive, to apologize, to give, to rest, to be silent, follow that voice. Your shield is not just about defense, it is also about direction. It steers you into places where favor waits, and away from places where spiritual ambushes have been set. Another powerful way to activate your shield daily is through praise and gratitude. Darkness thrives in an atmosphere of constant complaint. When all you see and speak is what is wrong, you magnify the enemy's work in your own eyes. Gratitude, however, turns your attention back to the evidence of God's presence. When you thank God for the doors He closed, for the accidents that did not happen, for the strength that carried you through last year, your spirit rises, your faith lifts. In that elevated state, it is harder for the enemy's lies to grip you. Praise reminds your shield who it belongs to. Do not underestimate small daily habits. Spending a few minutes with Scripture, listening to teachings that feed your spirit, journaling what God is showing you, sitting in silence and letting Him speak to your heart. These are simple practices, but they build layers in your protection. You are not just being religious. You are investing in the spiritual structure that stands between you and destruction. Finally, remember that you are not maintaining this shield alone. God is the architect, the engineer, and the power source. Your role is agreement. Agree with His truth. Agree with His leading. Agree with His correction. As you do, your shield activates more fully. You will notice more peace where there used to be panic, more clarity where there used to be confusion, more strength where there used to be weakness. Chosen one, from this day forward, see your daily life as sacred training. Every prayer, every choice, every yes to God and no to darkness is another brick in the fortress around your soul. You are not fragile. You are not exposed. You are guarded. Walk like it. Live like it. And let your shield shine so strongly that any demon watching from a distance will know, without a doubt, that you belong to the living God, and that your life is untouchable without His permission, now and forever. Amen. Final prophetic words and closing blessing. Chosen one. If you have stayed with me until this moment, it is because your spirit recognizes truth when it hears it. You did not find this message. This message was sent to find you. Heaven wanted you to know, with no more confusion and no more half-belief, that you are shielded, claimed, and fiercely protected by the living God. Demons have circled your life, but they have not crossed the line of ownership. Attacks have come, but they have not rewritten your identity. You have walked through fire, but you were not consumed. From this day forward, I want you to walk with a new posture. No more shrinking back as if you are uncovered. No more agreeing with voices that call you cursed, forgotten, or weak. You are a guarded vessel, a walking sanctuary, a carrier of divine assignment. I speak over you now. Let every crack in your shield be exposed and healed. Let every demonic agreement be broken. Let your discernment sharpen, your faith rise, and your courage return. May the presence of God around you become so real that fear loses its authority in your mind. As you leave this video, you are not leaving the presence of God. Your shield goes with you into your room, into your workplace, into every conversation and decision. Remember what you learned here. Guard your atmosphere. Guard your words. Guard your heart. And know that angels walk with you, even when you feel alone. If this word confirmed what your spirit already knew, share it with another chosen one who needs this reminder. Subscribe, stay connected, and keep walking the narrow path. This is your confirmation today. You are covered. You are chosen. And no demon can cross what God has sealed.